Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Spec F1 Esports Pacific Series, Round 15 for Season 2 here at the Singapore Grand Prix. Tonight, we currently have a 16-car grid. I feel like we could be getting one or two more, maybe. But I'm not sure about it. Let me just check the standings for you. See last week's race winner. I believe it was RJC ran a 44 at the Italian Grand Prix. It was actually 2 weeks ago, sorry. So he had a 1 week break. Then a second position went to Oz Formula, with third going to Gussie Boy 9. Fourth went to Dash. Fifth, Team War Thunder. Sixth, Zach. Seventh was Geordie JL23. Eighth was Supercar. 9th was the Henchman, and 10th was the Schnozzer. 11th was JB, 12th was Kart Racer, 12th was Micho, actually, I think. Yeah, it was Micho. Actually, no, it was Lockie. Sorry, not Micho. 12th went to Lockie, and 13th went to Kart Racer. Waiting for everyone to ready up now, and then we should get going. Current constructors leader is Red Bull by 20 points over the McLaren team. Current drivers championship leader is Team War Thunder, 33 points ahead of Zach JW22, who is 39 points ahead of Rayner in third, and then fourth is Schnozzer, 16 points behind Rayner, but he isn't racing tonight. I believe he is at work, so he will not be attending. Fifth is Oz Formula, 10 points behind Schnozzer, so Oz Formula could have the chance to jump V Schnozzer in the championship. Sixth is Supercar, 7 points behind Oz Formula, so he could also jump Schnozzer tonight. Seventh is Mika, but Mika has been blacklisted, so he's going to drop. Eighth is JB, ninth is Gussie, and 10th is Geordie. Waiting for everyone to ready up, and then we should get going. Thank you, Master Mike, for auto hosting. Appreciate it. I don't know it's automatic, but I still appreciate it. I believe we're just getting the message to be told to ready up. Yep, readying up now. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Lobby starting 9. Got 9 drivers ready. 10, 11. Waiting on Kart Racer, Rayner. Kart Racer's readied up. He's feminine. He's ready to go. 13. Just waiting on Rayner now. Rayner, Rad I Am, and Supercar, all to ready up. If you don't recognise Rad I Am is Bush Abo, or Bushaboo. Changed his name a couple of hours ago, actually, I think, so that's why his thing is a little bit different. Heading into the short qualifying here tonight, 18 minutes, followed by a 50% race. I believe it's 31 laps or 30 laps. I'm not too sure. Fairly long race tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So during the qualifying break, I might go grab a drink. There's a fairly long race tonight, as I said previously. Just waiting on Gussie Boy, Matt Lee, and just Matt Lee now, as Gussie Boy and Timor have readied up. Hopefully Matt Lee can come in. Yep, we're ready to go. It's Mika John 99 in the chat. Welcome to the chat room, mate. Hopefully you enjoy the action. If you are new here, remember to follow to come to the paddock. So interestingly, no Mercedes tonight. So neither of the Mercedes drivers managing to show up due to personal commitments. As I believe we have 2 drivers coming out in mediums. Everyone else looks to be on the softs at the moment. A couple of cars stream out of the pit lane. One of the Ferraris coming out. I believe that's Ferrari of Zach coming out of the pits. Down the lane he goes. So the Alpha pulls out as well. I believe that's the Alpha of Dash. Who I reckon's going to win? Personally, I know Zach's been pretty fast in time trial. I think he got the 25th fastest time in the world at time trial. So personally, my money's on Zach. But you know, it's a street circuit. Anyone could win. If Zach crashes, my guess is maybe on Timor, possibly Rayner, maybe even Supercar or Geordie. One of those guys. So they're in with a real shout tonight. As Zach, I reckon, is the favourite though. So not to put any commentator's curse on Zach, but I believe he will be the favourite. As pretty much 14 of the 16 cars have streamed out onto the circuit. Make that 15 out of the 16 cars when the pass falls over. If the McLaren of Geordie will be the first one to set a lap time at the moment. As you can see, everyone else spreading around the track, so everyone is now out on the circuit. As you can see there, pretty much. There we go. You reckon Geordie? Well, we'll have to see how that prediction goes, as we are watching the McLaren driver, the white helmet, car number 24. Pretty sure he was fairly annoyed when he heard the news that Alex Albon had taken number 23 off him. His name is Geordie JL23. But he's done the next best thing, go on 24. As he starts his lap now, pretty long circuit, I think it's 22 corners. So, it's the longest circuit on the calendar, but it's... No, it's not the longest circuit on the calendar, it's the longest race on the calendar. Belgium's the longest circuit, it's just not the longest race, it's so high speed. Rad I Am will win, says JB Fly High. Yeah, possibly. If he keeps it out of the walls, he could have a good race. Or Radley. Radley's blacklisted, so I'm not sure how Radley would win. But, as it is actually raining. I didn't even notice. It's actually raining on Geordie's car. That's probably why everyone's streamed out of the pit lane, trying to get a lap in before the weather comes down. But we're watching Geordie JL23 through over the Lee Anderson Bridge into the hairpin. It's not gonna... He's gonna probably have the fastest lap because of the rain, so expect Geordie to get pole, and pole is so crucial here because even though it's like a long circuit, it's very difficult to overtake because it's like Monaco. It's just covered with barriers and street lights, and you're driving on streets and everything, so it's very difficult to pass here, but Geordie seems to be making the lap time work. I believe Zach's fastest lap in time trial was a 34 flat, maybe. I feel like it was maybe a 34.2 or something. Don't think we'll see that pace as Geordie passes the 34 mark. It is going to be a 136.7 for the first representative lap time. Next will be Supercar, but I believe he may have just got his lap time validated. As he did. As Tez Science goes second with 39.8. Kart Racer immediately clicks that, goes second with 39.38. Something's all going on. Zach's gone second place there by like half a tenth almost. Whilst Formula's jumped to third, Gossie's jumped to fourth, Kart Racer's down in sixth, Tez Science seventh, Orphan Drop, is in eighth, it's ranked at ninth. As Geordie retires from the session, so Geordie thinking, you know, could have better than that. Jay Lowry goes ninth, Radayam goes eighth. Even though Nightbot's just put it out there, if you are new here, please make sure to follow, and you'll get join all the action as Matley thinks goes 11th. What can Hayden do? Zach's teammate flying the flag for Ferrari as he doesn't really best of lap times. As we were speaking, Timor Thunder's jumped up to third with a 37.4. What's Rayner got? Rayner's not been able to set a lap time straight away, so he's going to struggle here because this rain has caused problems. As I'm fairly sure everyone was a bit angry when the rain did come out, as Hayden's pulled it into the pit lane, so not thinking he can go any better. As Matley goes 13th, I think he's already there though. What will Rayner do? One of the favourites that I said earlier could be qualifying down towards the back end of this grid here. I didn't quite catch his sector 2 time, but he's already in the 30s coming through this part of the track. This is where Geordie was coming through the final sector. Went through the final 2 corners actually, so whether or not Rayner's just awarded that lap. So Rayner currently looks to qualify 15th at Singapore, arguably one of his best tracks. He says he loves the track, but he's not been able to put it in a good qualifying. All because of this weather. This surprise weather that we have seen tonight. I believe that might be it for qualifying at the moment. So I feel like not many drivers are going to go back out there considering how wet it is and the ability to not be able to set a lap time. You see Matley here, he's going to not beat his time and he's going to back out of it. As I say that, one of the Red Bulls goes out. I believe that's Test Science, maybe, or is it Timor? Timor out, still. Don't know better his lap time, but he's down by a country mile. I'm fairly sure you'll see some people retired. Geordie's already retired. He's called it quits already. Zach's in his garage. Timor's in the pits. Don't know what's just happened there. Must be a glitch or something. There's been glitches happening. Gussie Boy's in 5th in the pits. Henchman's the only one out on the track and he pulls it into the pits. So everyone's in the pits now, just sat waiting at the moment. And yeah, so hopefully we can get some more drivers out soon. As I was saying that not many cars go back out, Rayner has gone back out on the circle on another set of tyres. Trying to set a lap time here, but if I was him, I wouldn't really bother at the moment. Like, I mean, he could jump up Hayden, but as DRS Det's disabled, it's now time for the wet or intermediate tyres, and Rayner's just not going to be able to beat this time. He could possibly jump Hayden, and Karos has gone back out there as well on intermediates. So Karos are out on intermediates. You can see a couple of cars in intermediates, but they're not going to be too much fast. They're not going to be fast at all anyway, so. As Formula calls it quits, it's a helicopter cam, so does Gussie Boy. Helicopter cam shows Kart Racer out on those tyres, and you can just see the track's not very fast at all. So if it's raining in the race, this could be a really long stream because it's going to be a pretty slow race. That's the case. So it's just weird to see it raining in Singapore. You never expect it to rain in Singapore. Like even in 2017, a supercar retires. So if I was the drivers, like bloody Zach and Timor, I would just call it quits because the track's not going to improve in the next 8.5 minutes, and you're just going to be sat there wasting your time. As you can see, Rayner sliding the car on the exit there. Great car control from the McLaren driver, but I don't think you're going to find much time out there. If you can find any, there's going to be like maybe a tenth as Rainer's first sector's a 31.8. Compare that to, say, Geordie's, which is a 26.5. He's almost down by 5 seconds in the first sector alone. He's just trying to get out there and try and set a lap that's quicker than Hayden so he can jump up to 14th, but it's not really working there. As you can see him sliding the car around. The vigorous car control that Rayner has is absolutely amazing. His rig is pretty good at controlling the car, and he is a great driver himself, so see him sliding over the Anderson Bridge. But as the henchman also retires, so he's out of it, he's called it quits. Rayner's still soldiering on out there, but it's not going to be to no use, I would assume, as what's Car Racer doing. Car Racer's down by 4 seconds on his previous best, so track isn't at its best at the moment. So I guess we'll just sit back and watch Rayner complete his lap, but I don't think he's going to find much time. As Rayner does in fact jump Hayden, but sets 2:01.9, almost 15 seconds slower than Matley, who's 10 seconds off the pace. So Rayner almost 25 seconds off the pace at the moment. Considering his current conditions, he would have been absolutely furious that his lap got invalidated, I'm fairly sure. And you see Car Racer struggling as well, even on those intermediates, so track's in a pretty horrendous state, as I've repeated multiple times, but Geordie JL23 is currently on pole position, the McLaren driver. A great lap from him right at the start of the session, so it's looking good for him for the race. It's a very difficult track to overtake. So if anyone's a Geordie fan out there, he's in the prime position at the moment. If he can just hold his lead through the first couple opening laps, he should be okay. As Hayden comes through to complete his lap time, coming to the final sector, I don't think it'll be faster than Rayner's, so Rayner may get 14th there as Hayden puts in a wall there. He's going to lose some of his front wing, the Ferrari driver. Not having a great qualifying session. What can he do? You think he might pull it into the pit lane? No, he doesn't. He will carry on, but his time will be slower than RJC Rayner 44's. And he sets a 2:04.9. Pretty slow pace around this track where they can be setting low 34s. As I believe Rayner's off down the escape road. Yes, he is. You can see the McLaren driver there. Locking up down the escape road. He'll be probably pulling into the pits this lap, as he hasn't had the best of qualifying sessions. As we say hello to the 7 viewers watching. I know that isn't many, but as Rayner spins it, Red I Am retires from the session. Rayner retires from the session. There's yellow flags everywhere as people retire, as you've got, it's almost like Noah's Ark at this moment. You've got 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7th, 9th and 10th, 12th and 13th, all still racing or qualifying, but Matley's down by 8 seconds on his previous best. There's no way anyone's going to improve in these next 4 minutes, so I'm not sure why drivers are still in the session. I'm pretty sure you should just retire at this point, but it's up to them, I guess. Car Racer doesn't actually have a front wing there as he goes down the escape road, probably locking up his front tyres. It's very difficult to control the car without the front wing, as that provides crucial downforce that the car needs to corner quickly, and that's front wing's one of the main reasons why F1 is so quick, because the car can corner so quickly because of the downforce, but it also produces a lot of dirty air, which is unhelpful, as I just realised my audio's been up too high. There we go, you can probably hear me a little bit better now. Oh, as car racer slides the car through the chicane there. Great car control. I think, will he pull it in? No, he carries on. So some drivers may be just gathering data from wet runs, possibly if the race is a little bit wet, but I'm not sure how effective those are going to be, because I'm not sure what the weather conditions are for the race. Usually I have an intel, because V Schnozzer, who isn't racing tonight, usually tells me what's going on in terms of the weather, but he isn't racing, as Car Racer does a little bit of donuts to give the fans some action there. I'm not sure how the stewards will find that, but he's doing it. He's just enjoying the rain, as I believe he resets the track. That's not allowed. He may pick up a penalty for that if the stewards are watching, but I'm not sure if they are. If anyone reports it, I'm not sure if they're going to. Maybe Ted Science might, because I know he's been known to report people in the past for that. As he spins the car, he's just having fun at the moment. So, just waiting for the next 2 minutes to pass, and we'll be going to the race. So current pole sitter and your official pole sitter, I would say, because I don't think anyone's going to be able to beat his lap time, is Geordie JL23, so congratulations to him. I might... Is he in a party with anyone? Party invite only? It does. We'll get him in for an interview, but he's on an invite-only party, so, yeah, so I'm not sure the riding. I might get him for a quick interview after Collie. So Jordy has joined me, which I just want to get a quick qualifying interview before the race, considering it is a bit of a wet session. So can you just give us your thoughts on your qualifying lap, and congratulations on pole, because I feel like no one's going to beat your lap time.
Well, it's kind of just a bit of luck. I just happened to see the rain, and I just put on the setup and just went out there. Wasn't much skill.
Yeah.
I think Spec would have got pole if I didn't go as quick.
Yeah, Zach is the hot favourite, but can you shed some light on Rayner? Can you tell us what happened? Because he's down in 14th at the moment, not being able to set a decent lap time because of the weather.
Oh, he was just taking the piss, like playing songs and stuff, and then he just didn't see the weather, so he just forgot to go out as quick. And then I got out, and I was like, Rayner, you know it's gonna rain. And he's like, oh crap.
Alright, well, I'll let you go back to your race stuff, and we'll see you in the race in about 10 seconds, I guess.
Alright, thank you. See ya.
See ya. As qualifying has officially finished, your pole sitter now officially is Geordie JL23, with Zach in second, Timor third, Oz Formula fourth, Gus Boy qualifies in 5th position. Car Racer will come home in 6th. Test Science 7th. Radam 8th. J Larry 9th and Dash 10th. 11th through to 16th is Dash. Oh no, not Dash. The Henchman, Orphan Drop, Matley, Rayner, SFF1, Hayden, and Supercar representatively. Supercar not setting a time. Everyone else setting a time, whether or not be 28 seconds off the pace. But that is it for qualifying. See you guys in the race. As we come into the race, Oz Formula has lagged out of the session there. So poor timing for his internet to connect as we go to the race. As soon as he's still in the session on my screen, I'm not sure what's happened with his internet there. Maybe we get some explanation in the Discord. But other than that, it looks to be down a car. Just wait for everyone to ready up. So it looks to be a dry start to the race. Whether or not there's rain through the middle of it is another question. As we get set for the formation lap, your pole sitter, Geordie, on pole, obviously. Zach in second, Timor third, Oz Formula would be fourth, but unfortunately he is disconnected and I don't think can actually take part in the race. So there goes any hope of Oz Formula being able to catch V Schnozzer in the championship. I believe if Supercar actually wanted to get ahead of V Schnozzer, he needed to finish second in this race. As he's actually crashed as SFF1 Hayden on the formation lap there, so them two being naughty boys back to the grid as Geordie leads the pack. It's 31 laps tonight, so again a pretty long race, especially considering we're at one of the longest tracks on the circuit. So we'll have to see how this race goes. I just message Oz Formula, see what happened. Due to connection issues. So over the Anderson Bridge they go. You can see Zach, I think, sliding the car maybe, as Rainer's actually last place now, down in 14th. So, interesting to see how he goes. As we watch the henchman, car number 19 in the Haas. Sorry about that. As you can see, Tess Sainz in the Red Bull. Tess Sainz, a bit of a controversial figure. He's been the subject of some drivers talking over the off period, but let's see if his driving can do the talking tonight. Car Racer also one to watch tonight. He's down in 6th place, so he's been putting in some practice. Gussie's in 5th as well, so Gussie boy, great qualifying for the controller player. Oz Formula, who would be in 4th, but not in the race. That's what he said. Timor's in 3rd, so Timor current championship leader by 33 points. So Zach will be wanting to try and win this race and have Timor finish last. I know it sounds cruel, but that's what he'll want for the championship's sake. And I'm sure that's what we all want, to have a championship battle. But it looks like Timor could get this one done, the championship done, pretty soon. So I believe there is, I'm not sure how many races there is, but I'll just check quickly before the race. As we actually get set for 5 red lights now. There's a yellow flag in sector 1, but it's 2, 3, 4. It's 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. It looks like Geordie's got a good start, but Zach's got a decent one. He's going to have to cover off Timor down into turn 1. There's 3 wide with Car Racer into the back of turn 1 there. There's no contact at the moment. It looks like they all file through cleanly. Henchman and Dash have gone up places. Rainer's up places as well. There's contact on the Williams is around. He's down and out last as they all try and file through the first corner successfully. It doesn't look like they all managed to do so. As Henchman in the slipstream of Rad I Am, who's trying to get past Test Sciences, Zach looks to the inside and Geordie manages to fend him off as Car Racer gets past Dash down the inside, but there's contact. Car Racer's round. There must have been a poor move there. As Car Racer's round and lost front wing. As Orphan Drop's also gone as well. So there's controversy down towards the back of the pack as they all try to gain the positions, but currently halfway through lap 1, Geordie's your leader by 4 tenths over Zach, with Rayner jumping positions, passing Dash up to 8, so Rayner having a good start at the moment. But it looks like the top 3 is going to stay this way for most of the race, as Geordie currently leads Zach, leading Timor, as Oz Formula actually just jumps online now, so his Xbox must have shut down, which is pretty poor for him. But as there's a yellow flag in sector 2, one of the Ferraris is gone. There's Hayden, he's off the track. Must have had a spin over the hairpin, but that's cost him a little bit of time, as Geordie currently leads still coming into this 3rd sector, as one of the Haas's is gone as well. That Supercar is round and lost it. Maybe a little bit of contact as the Williams and Jay Lowry passes him through the inside. But Geordie coming towards the end of lap 1 now. The race leader with Zach in 2nd and Timor in 3rd. I feel like this is going to be the battle to watch out the most of the race, as Run AM gets past Henchman. As Henchman runs wide, he's gone off the track. Looks like Rayner maybe trying to go down the inside of Run AM. Into turn 1, he manages to get the position. Clean move by the McLaren driver. His teammate currently leading. He'll be want to try and close the gap to his teammate as Kart Racer pulls into the pits to get that damage fixed. But Tez Sainz in a Red Bull up to 5th, great result for him off the start, as Hayden and Jay Larry have crashed into the pits, and as SFF1 Hayden actually gets disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So there is our first DNF, I believe, of the race, as there he goes, he has been disqualified. So there's a yellow flag in Sector 1, but that's not affecting the leaders as Zach picks up a penalty. Expect multiple penalties to be dished out in this race for exceeding track limits and possibly contact, as it is a tight, twisty circuit. As Radayam and Tez Sainz fight at the back, these two have had beef through DMs, I believe. There has been a little bit of like nudging going on as he goes down the inside. There's contact with Tez Sainz there, so Bradley's sort of punting Tez Sainz. He's got to worry about the henchman sat in behind though. His henchman's ready to pounce at a moment's notice on the Williams. He goes down the inside, there's more contact. He's sort of bumped him and he's gone by. Bit of a lenient move, I'd say, from Radayam, but he's made the position up to 6th. What's going to happen now with Tez Sainz and Radley? I know these two hate each other. I mean, I wouldn't, hate's a pretty strong word, but they dislike each other in terms of racing, as looks like henchman's now over the back of Tez Sainz as Geordie sits the fastest up at 40.9 as Rayner gets past Gussie Boy through the final corner as Gussie Boy spins. Gussie Boy's lost it out of the final corner. Oh no, I feel bad for him. He's down to 8th. He's going to lose even more places now as he pulls in front of the Alpha of Dash. I couldn't really get my words out there. But oh no, Gussie's lost half his front wing. He'll be into the pits for sure, as he probably going to let Dash through on... No, he isn't. He's going to hold position ahead of Dash, but he's not going to be able to drive that car pretty fast. What does Gussie Boy do? Dash will go to the inside. DRS wide open. He'll get that position easily as he forces Gussie wide. Matt Lee will get past as well, around the outside, easy as you like. Sweet as a nut. And Gussie's down to 10th. He'll be definitely in this lap to get that wing change, but such a terrible turn of events for the Racing Point drivers. Jay Larry and Orphan Drop are now some of the closest people on track, but Henchman and Tez Sainz still right with each other on lap 3 now. Jay Larry gets past Orphan Drop, up to 13th position for the Williams drivers. Sorry. Rayner sits the fastest up. I believe there was a 39 something, so Rayner may be the first driver into 39, didn't quite catch that lap. He is definitely catching Timor, who's still with Zach and Geordie as the henchman passes Tez Sainz through turn 1, 2, 3 complex. So Geordie's still holding his own against Zach. I know Zach is sort of the favourite coming into this race, but the dirty air and the hot tyre effect can really slow your progress down once you're sat behind another car. Rayner is probably in one of the best positions here because he's still a couple seconds behind. He'll be able to punch out fast laps and preserve his tyres compared to, say, Timor or Zach, who's sat in the dirty air of the other McLaren. So they've got a McLaren sort of holding them up. I know Geordie isn't really holding them up, but it's sort of acting like that with his dirty air effect, and they've got the McLaren, his teammate, chasing them down. So these guys will really need to get a move on if they want to try and get past Geordie and not be attacked by the other McLaren of RJC Rayner 44. As all the cars are now pretty much within over a second of each other, apart from these top 3. As Geordie pulls into the pit, so does Zach. Timor carries on. So Zach and Geordie pulling it in. Starting it's time to get off those soft tyres because the soft tyres here are terrible. As Rainer actually sets a 40.4, so he wasn't in the 39s. My apologies. What a glitch pit stop there from Zach. But he's jumped Geordie in the pit stops. Has he? No. Geordie comes out ahead. So, interesting there. It sort of glitched as Tez Science and Dash both pull into the pit lane, starting to get off their soft tyres. But Geordie and Zach both out in the same position there. Looked like Zach had jumped the McLaren in the pit stops, but speaking of the McLarens, I'm not talking about a McLaren at the moment, but Henchman goes to the outside of Red I Am. Will take that third position into turn 5, I think it is. Yeah, turn 6, sorry. And through turn 7 now, he holds that third position up to the podium spots for the Henchman. But speaking of the McLarens now, Rainer is only 1.3 seconds, 1.1 seconds, under a second now behind Timor Thunder in the Red Bull. So softs really dying very quickly for Timor. Staying at that extra lap may have cost him a lot of time compared to Geordie and Zach, who will be on fresher tyres that aren't hot or aren't really worn like Timor's. As Timor spins, Timor's at a wall. Timor's lost the car. A rare mistake from the Red Bull driver. He resets to track. But Timor making a very costly mistake. This could put him right towards the the pack. But a very costly and rare mistake from the Red Bull of Timor. You rarely ever see Timor make mistakes. Never. You never. It's just so rare. And at the one time he couldn't afford it, he makes a mistake. There definitely will be an invoice for that one. He comes into the pits now. A Henchman passes him. Rat I Am will get past him. So will Matley, as the Red Bull guys aren't there, but the pit stop's going to happen anyway. As they start to do it now. So Timor's going to have a long pit stop, as there's a pretty big glitch. As there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. I believe that's Orphan drop. He may have spun at the hairpin. But Timor Thunder comes out and he's behind Zach and Geordie, who's got past Matley. So I just enable all this stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have it enabled. But Timor down in 7th now. 14, 15, 16 seconds behind Geordie. So that mistake costing Timor pretty much 16 seconds. So Rainer will jump in for sure. As Matley sits in behind Zach. Now on those older softs. So Matley will be wanting to get off those tyres pretty soon. If not this lap, as everyone has made a pit stop, I believe. No, Rainer, Henchman, Red I Am, and Matley are the only ones who haven't made a pit stop. I'm sorry about that. As Matley sort of goes wide, he's using a lot of his ERS at the moment. As Zach and Geordie resume their battle, so one's gone. It looks like Geordie's pulled a 1.1 second gap on Zach. So Geordie's still leading this motor race, or effectively leading this motor race. But Rainer is pulling a gap out the front on those tyres. Those medium tyres really working for him. He's still sitting quick lap time instead of 40.8, only half a second off his fastest lap on those tyres. So I reckon he'll be in for maybe a set of hards around lap 10, 11, 12-ish, I would assume. So that's about 19, 18 laps on a set of hards, which is doable. But I'm not sure what the strategy is around here, obviously, because I'm a commentator, I don't do much practice, but Geordie with a 1 second quicker lap time than Rainer's previous best. He is flying on those fresh tyres, and so is Zach, who's caught him by almost 4/10 going through those first couple corners. So this is on. This is still on. This is going to be on for the rest of the race, and what Geordie needs to do is to not make a mistake. If he doesn't make a mistake, there's no way that Zach could possibly pass him. Unless Zach has a clear pace advantage, which at the moment he doesn't. As Matley pulls into the pit lane now, he'll drop down to about 10th, 11th, as Zach resumes battle. As Geordie and Zach have got to navigate the Williams and Rad I Am. This won't be easy because Rat I Am will defend because this is 4th position. It's not a lapped car. So, but he goes wide. That'll give Geordie a sniff around the outside. Down the straight, he'll blast past him with ERS. And he does so. But will Rat I Am try to fight back? No, he's put himself in between Geordie and Zach, but Zach will get him around the outside, which turns to the inside, which will turn to the outside, but Zach gets the position back up to 4th, so Right IM's tyres starting to die, I guess you can say. He started on the mediums. So we'll have to see how long those tyres last. He'll possibly on the same strategy that Rayner is on. And Rayner still leads this race on lap 8 of 31 here. So we're a quarter of the way through this race, ladies and gentlemen. And current leader is Rayner, with Henchman 20 seconds back on the same age tyres, with Geordie just 1.5 seconds behind him. So I believe Geordie and Zach are on a 2-stop, and I believe Rayner's on a 1-stop. And so is Henchman. So effectively Rayner only has one more pit stop to do, and so does Geordie. So Geordie's effectively 20 seconds behind, but Zach pulls to the outside, tries to make a move. Geordie defends. Zach will get the switch back. As you can see, the helicopter shop running the goods. He goes to the outside. He'll try and get the switch back as Gussie Boy picks up a penalty. Can Zach try and get past Geordie JL 2-3? This is effectively for the lead, I would assume, as they're catching Rayner. But Geordie in the slipstream of Henchman. This will give him DRS down the main straight, which will fend off one of the opportunities that Zach has to try and pass Geordie, unless he can get past Henchman. And he switches. They both go to the outside, trying to get the switch back as Henchman sort of pulls over to the left, sort of letting them through. He's on a different strategy, so he's decided to just let them through. They're faster drivers. Good etiquette by Henchman, but he didn't have to do that, which makes it even better. As Zach had one of the main challenges, but he didn't do much with it. I mean, he probably did the best he could in that position. They didn't make contact. It was clean racing. It was good racing, but no position change as of yet, but their tyres will start to die off fairly soon. You can see Rayner sort of fell off the cliff after about 4 or 5 laps. So Zach's will die first because he's in this constant slipstream of Geordie, which will give him dirty air, but he's got DRS again down this main straight. It does affect a lot here, but Geordie's maybe running higher wing because he's sort of gained down that straight. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. I believe Jay Lowry's up the escape road, so he's locked up, gone down the escape road, rejoined onto the circuit. But as Zach take 2 here, on board with the Ferrari driver, Geordie weaves down the straight trying to break the toe. Can only do that a certain amount of times here in race Spec, but Zach breaks deep. He's sort of run wide. That's cost him some time, but I don't think the move was particularly on there. Even if he was close enough, I don't think Zach could have made the move. They're catching Rayner steadily, but Rayner's still holding that gap at around 20 seconds, which is good for him because he wants to sort of maintain the gap, if not extend it. As there's another yellow flag is off Jay Lowry's round again. He's lost the car on the same lap. I believe he will be in for a pit stop. Right IM picks up a penalty for exceeding the track limits. I believe Zach also has a penalty. Geordie doesn't, I believe. So that could be another advantage in Geordie's favour in this battle for effectively the race win. So we cut down to Gussie Boy and Test Science. Test Science in the slipstream of Gussie Boy now. Could he try and make an overtake? He cuts the track, picks up a penalty there. So he'll try and do the crisscross. There's a little bit of contact there, sort of knocking Gussie. What will he do? Test Science. As Car Racer and Dash are also closer together on track now. As the front 2 go through turn 1-2 complex. We may cut to them in a second. We'll do that now, coming down to the DRS straight. As you can, we run on board with Zach. Geordie loses the car. This could be the opportunity for Zach. Geordie's made that mistake, and he'll switch up the car. He'll get alongside. But can he do it? Geordie defends to the inside. Zach goes to the outside. Geordie goes deep. Zach will try and get a crisscross, but it just isn't on, as Zach will do the carbon copy, try and go to the outside, switch to the inside, try and get a crisscross. Zach sort of fakes to the inside, goes left, goes right, sorry, but doesn't get the position. So Geordie getting away with possibly one of the mistakes he got away with. He's still on the relentless defense of Zach, but also trying to catch Rayner. As Rayner still leads this race, he may be in for a pit stop fairly soon. Try and get off those medium tyres. So, Red I Am and Timor Thunder actually now. So, Timor Thunder after his pit stop sort of caught up to the back of Red I Am, and it looks like Red I Am may just let him go through here. He goes to the inside, switches to the outside, Timor gets the position. Fairly standard move from your Red Bull driver. As Rayner's in the pit lane, Rayner in the pits. What tyres are going on to? Hard tyres going on to the McLaren. Will he get out ahead of Geordie JL23? No. Geordie and Rayner get out ahead. Geordie and Zach, sorry, get out ahead of Rayner. But Rayner making his final pit stop there onto the hard tyres. Will Henchman get past? No. As one of the Williams spins out the pits. Jay Larry's spinning out of the pit exit. This could be dangerous. Will Timor get through there cleanly? Yes, he does, just avoiding the Williams. You probably couldn't see him quite clearly there. But Jay Larry, just coming out of fresh hards, immediately spins out of the pit lane. He's going to be very angry with himself after that move. As the two leaders now officially battle as Red I Am pits. That'll allow Gussie Boy and Tess Science up in position, as well as Dash and Kart Racer. As the two leaders now still battle on lap 11. 11 laps gone. We've got about 20 laps left. But exactly 20 laps left in this race. And Geordie still leads the way. The pole sitter still leading from the second place man in qualifying. If you didn't miss qualifying, it was a wet session as Jay Lowry retires from the race. He's crashed it in a wall there. Coming out of turn 4 or 5, no, coming out of turn 6, sorry. Will that cause a safety car? Doesn't look like it at the moment, which is good, I guess, for action, but that could also help the likes of Geordie and Zach, because they pit onto mediums and pit onto hards and go to the end of the races. I believe Orphan Drop spun as well. He has down turn 1-2 as he tries to get back onto the track, and he does rejoin behind his teammate Matley, sorry about that, and continues on his way, but Geordie still fending off Zach here as Timor and Henchman try to make it past each other cleanly, I guess. As Zach is closer than he's been before as Jay Larry leaves, because he's out of the session. Zach's closer than he has been before. Geordie high on the ERS as well as Zach. Will Zach go to the outside? He does. That's the only way he can go. He tries to get switchback going, but Geordie defends it brilliantly. So Geordie's switchback defense is absolutely brilliant at the moment. He's doing all the defending, and Zach's doing all the attacking. But Zach's currently not able to get past the McLaren. The McLaren bus sort of coming out at the moment from Geordie, as Rayner's only 8 seconds behind now, so he'll be starting to probably gain on those newer hards as he's jumped Timor in the process, so Timor's mistake costing him a lot. As Car Racer and Dash, can Car Racer try to get past the Alfa Romeo down the DRS straight as Test Science goes through the camera shot there as Orphan drops out. Orphan drops, lost it on the exit of the corner. That'll have to be a safety car, I would assume, as Zach picks up a penalty for that actually. Sorry about that. We missed Car Racer and Dash's overtake, but Dash tries to do the switchback. Tries to do what Zach's been doing, but it doesn't work like it doesn't work with Zach. As, is there a safety car? Not at the moment, there's no safety car, so the car's gone as well. So interestingly, we've had 2 retirements from this race and no safety car, so safety car sort of being a little bit of a ghost car tonight, not really showing up as we would hope for it, because safety cars around this track are very exciting. But doesn't look like we've gone at the moment. It looks like Car Race has also defended that position well on Dash. Not sure if Car Race has got to the end of on those tyres. He's been on them for about 10 laps now, so whether or not he's got to the end or not is another question. Is Henchman finally brings it in off those mediums. He'll be going on to a set of hards to the end of this race, I would assume. Or another set of mediums, is he? Yeah, another set of mediums. So if I was him, I would have gone to a set of hards, but he hasn't. So that promotes Gussie up to 5th. It sort of settles out the order as everyone's made their pit stops. But Tez Science also gets past Henchman in the pits. As we take a look at the battle for the lead, as Henchman actually slots out behind Supercar. As the two teammates battle, so he actually slots out ahead of Supercar. So can Supercar try and get the DRS down this straight, try and pass his teammate. We'll have to see, but Henchman also gets the DRS. You see Kart Racer goes through, then Dash, then Henchman, then Supercar, car number 85. Doesn't get it done. Supercar staying in his position. These three will have a little bit of a battle for the rest of this race. But the last podium positions, as the cars behind them are just 11 and 35 seconds behind at the moment. As Matley picks up a penalty for exceeding the track limits now. As Zach is now just a couple tenths, tantalisingly close to the back of Geordie. Geordie will have to do another defending number to try and keep the Ferrari at bay, but does Geordie get a good exit? He actually does there, as Henchman picks up another penalty. So Henchman really abusing the track limits now, but Zach's closer than he's been before. He's close, he's trying to go around the outside. He'll hold it there, but Geordie holds him to the outside. Zach sort of goes off the track slightly. He'll try to do the switch back here, but it doesn't work. Geordie's still defending his position. Any Geordie fans out there will absolutely be loving this. As what can Zach do into the old Singapore sling? Doesn't have a chance through there. Coming towards the Anderson Bridge, can he try and get it done in the hairpin? Will he go for a Geordie lungy move? I haven't said that in a while, but no, he holds position in second place. As they go down this sort of back straight here, they're catching up to the lap car of Matley in the Toro Rosso, currently in 12th position. It will become a lap down fairly soon, but Zach still unable to find a way past the McLaren here in Singapore. As we're approaching half race distance, on lap 16 is half race distance, as there's 31 laps here tonight. Fairly long race, I believe it'll be about an 80-minute stream. As Red I Am picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits. Zach's still 6 tenths behind, but Geordie's getting the DRS off Matley, so that's helping him keep ahead. As Henchman and Kart Racer now try to battle. As I've mentioned Gussie in a while, he's sat in 5th position. Decent result, or great result at the moment for the Alpha driver, not the Alpha driver, the Racing Point driver. His teammate, I believe, JB Far High, I believe he actually got a race ban for some of his actions in the league. So if you do mess up in the league, there is punishments for it, and one of them is a race ban. So JB serving his tonight, not being allowed to race. He can watch the race. I believe he is watching the race on the stream. But he cannot race. As Henchman tries to get past Kart Racer down the DRS zones. Will he be able to? It looks like Kart Racer's got a poor exit. Those old hards not working for him. But Henchman goes down the inside into turn 1. Clean move by the Haas driver. Getting past the Renault up into 7th position. He'll hold that position, I'm sure, as Red I Am goes to 9th, as Dash and Supercar both pull into the pits, get off those tyres. Go into a set of softs it is for Supercar, so I'm not sure why he's gone on the softs. Dash onto a set of hards. Maybe Supercar trying to go for the fastest lap. That's pretty early to be doing that. We're only halfway through the race, so I'm not sure why he'd be switching on to softs, trying to go for the fastest lap, even though we're nowhere near the end of it. But Henchman sets his sights after test science. He'll try and gain that 6th position, try and claw his way back through the field on those fresh tyres. As one of the Ferraris just blinked in and out of existence. As Zach pulls it into the pit lane. His crew aren't ready there for him, but they service him anyway. I believe that is a glitch with the system, but he's onto a fresh set of mediums. So Zach trying to do the undercut on Geordie JL23 here. Geordie's position is currently at stake. He'll need to set a quick lap time. He is pushing. He'll have to push this up if he doesn't want to get jumped by Zach. The thing he can hope for is Zach to maybe get held up by Gussie Boy, but Gussie Boy's 47 seconds behind Zach. Holy mackerel. As these guys are all within a second of each other here, so you can see this battle pack sort of forming as Test Science, Henchman and Kart Racer all file through the final sector. But our eyes are on Geordie and his pit stop times. What is his gap? As Henchman passes Test Science, as Test Science actually pulls it into the pit lane here. This could affect Teamall strategy because them two teammates. This could force Teamall to try and pit a lap later because their crew won't be ready for him as he pulls onto another set of medium tyres to the end of the race. He gets passed by Rad I Am. He'll drop down to about 10th position, I would assume. No, he'll stay in 9th. As does Geordie pit. He's coming through the final sector now. Zach is coming in through the hairpin. He's got about half a sector gap on the Ferrari driver. So, will he pit? Yes, he's in the lane. He will come in. Will it be enough, though, to jump the Ferrari? As he pulls it into the pit, 60 kilometers an hour. Zach comes through the final twisty sector. Rayner carries on. Rayner will assume the race lead. Geordie sees the McLaren boys smartly dressed in orange and blue. Smartly dressed in blue, sorry, not in orange. He gets serviced. He trundles down the pit lane at 60. Zach's coming through the final corners. On board with the Ferrari driver, you can see Geordie trundling down the pits, and Zach will jump him. Yes, he does. Yep, Zach's jumped Geordie. Zach ahead of Geordie now. The undercuts worked beautifully for the Ferrari team. Geordie loses about 2 seconds there on the Ferrari driver and has work to do now if he wants to regain that position over Zach JW22. But Geordie loses the lead here on lap 17. And loses the effective lead as well to Zach JW22. Now our eyes turn to Rayner on those hards. He will be going to the end, but those tyres will be pretty dead by the end of the race. But those gaps as you can see, Zach and Geordie have about 16 to 20 seconds to make up on the McLaren driver. So they have work to do. So does Timor. Timor will be in this lap, I would assume, to go to a set of mediums to the end of the race. 14 laps on those mediums to the end of this race will be a stretch. Tez Science picks up a penalty down in 9th position on those fresh tyres. As does Timor pull into the pits this lap, actually. Geordie still in 4th. I'm not sure where else he'd be, but Timor actually making the gap about 10 seconds to Rayner. So Timor's not really been on the pace now, and you'd expect him to be on the pace considering he's the championship leader. But he is still in 2nd position on those 12-up old mediums. He'll be in for a new set of tyres fairly soon, I would assume. As Zach sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:38.939. Those mediums working brilliantly for him. As Geordie was sort of on the same pace, he's trying to catch back up now. Geordie's going to do all the attacking while Zach can do all the defending. So the Ferrari driver, it's good for his championship at the moment, gaining points on Timor. So the gap could come under a race, which means we will have a finale for the championship. But it's still early days. Gussie Boy 9 pits off those old mediums. He'll be going on to another set to the end of the race. Kart Racer, if he wants to go to the end of those hard, has to do another 12 laps on those 16-lap old tyres. So I feel like he'll be in for a set of softs towards the end of the race. As Rad I Am passes Gussie Boy 9 as well. As it just is about to pass 9 PM local time, as we have 13 laps left in this race. RJC Rayner 44 still leads, followed by Timor Thunder as he starts lap 19. But Timor's only 2.5 seconds ahead of Zach, who's only 2.5 ahead of Geordie, so gap's starting to close now. Zach sets the fastest lap, and Geordie immediately beats it at 38.4, beating Zach's, I think, 38.5. So Geordie pushing hard, so is Zach. Both pushing extremely hard. These two were the fastest in qualifying, only half a tenth separated them. It looks like only a couple seconds will separate them in the race, but that could start to close the end of the race. The Supercar and Dash now battle down towards the bottom of the field, battling for the last points position. As there's contact, Supercar smashes the back of Dash. It doesn't really smash it, but bumps the back of Dash, I guess you could say, on those soft tyres. Those soft tyres will be starting to die though fairly soon. You'll have to come in around lap 21, 22, 23 to get another set of tyres on. He loses the car on the exit there. Very hard control for him not to end up in barrier like Orphan Drop and Jay Lowry, as Matley officially passes a minute behind Supercar. So Matley is a lap down and last, as Supercar picks a penny for jumping the curbs there. Can he try and get past Dash down the DRS straight? So he'll have the advantage of the soft tyres. We officially pass an hour live. He'll go to the inside as Zach picks up another penalty here. So Geordie, I believe, still doesn't have a penalty. So I would confirm that in a second. But speaking of Zach, he is now within the DRS of Timor Thunder. I believe Timor Thunder will be pitting this lap though. So his main championship rival just ahead of him in arm's reach there as Timor fakes to the pits. This could help Geordie. Geordie's actually gaining now on Zach as he's stuck in this dirty air of Timor Thunder. Timor on those older mediums, Zach on the fresh ones. So Timor Thunder will only need to do 11 laps on his, whereas Zach will need to do about 15 to get to the end. So Timor could have the advantage towards the end of this race, but will that help him now? Doesn't look like it. As Zach picks up the DRS, he will get past. I believe Timor may just let him through. No, he squeezes him to the inside. Timor goes to the outside. Zach will get the position. Does Timor try and do the switchback? No, but he'll still put pressure on Zach. Geordie will now get the dirty air effect of Timor in the Red Bull, but it's managed to cane him about a second and a bit there, which is good news for Geordie. He's managed to catch up as Supercar and Dash is in a wall. He resets the track. I mean, it doesn't really matter, he's down 11th position, there was no cars near him, but still against the rules. As Matley is, I think, a lap down, is he? Yeah, he is a lap down. See the gaps to the leader there. So Zach and Geordie have gained by a couple of seconds as Geordie's in the wall! Geordie's in the wall, he loses his wing! Controversial scenes as Geordie bins in a wall. He's gone too deep, he's in a wall. I've said that multiple times now, but that's cost him a chance at a race victory here. He's thrown away the win that he could have possibly had. That's surely given the win most likely to Zach if he can catch up to the back of the McLaren of Rayner. But Geordie, does he pit? No, he'll stay out, but that's surely cost him a lot of time, and if he can't catch that up, then there's no chance in hell that he could try and beat Timor or Zach. He could still get on the podium at the moment due to penalties, but Rayner most likely actually to win this race now because of Zach's penalties, to be honest. Let me have a quick check how many Rayner has. So Rayner has no penalties. Zach has 3. So Zach has not. So Zach needs to pass Rayner and gain 9 seconds if he wants to win this race. So currently Rayner effectively leads this race by 19 seconds. So Zach would need to gain about 1.9 seconds a lap if he wants to try and catch and pass and win this race, but I don't think it's going to happen. I believe Zach will be getting position 2 in this race if he can pull away from Timor. Speaking of Timor, does he have any penalties? He does, in fact, have 1 penalty, so he needs to beat Timor by 6 seconds. He needs to beat Rayner by 9 seconds if he wants to win. It's Gussie Boy and Radam. Gussie will go to the outside. Rayner actually picks up his first penalty now, so that lowers the gap that Zach will need to win by, but he's still 16 seconds effectively off the lead as Gussie Boy passes Radam. Radam on those hold hards. I said hold hards, but I meant to say old. In 8th position, so he'll try and cover off Tez Science. This could be interesting towards the end of the race. Tez Science on fresher tyres. there's not really much going on here on lap 22. If you are enjoying the stream, make sure to follow us. Contact ZachJW22 or in fact Test Science if you want to get involved in the specific series action. If you don't, that's fine, you can enjoy the stream. But lap 22 of 31, I think Rainer may have won this race pretty much in the bag. I don't think Timor or Zach will be able to catch him towards the end of this race. I think he may have won it. I know I'm calling it early, but there's an 8.5 second gap plus penalties, so unless Rainer can get a lot of penalties, I think he has effectively won this race. Gussie Boy's fallen from 5th position down to 7th, I believe. Car Racer, as Rad AM runs wide actually, as Test, that could give Test Science a sniff coming into the final sector. As I said, these two don't like each other, so I'm fairly sure there'll be fireworks as they get close to each other on circuit. Supercar could be in the next couple laps, try and maybe go to another sort of soft to the end of the race. That's if here, near or there. It's just so it's pretty hesitant to get past the Williams driver as Red AM goes wide. That allows Test Science easily down the inside. As Supercar actually just get lapped by RJC Rainer 44 there. That would also mean that Dash has been lapped. He has just been lapped by Geordie Dale 23. As looks like Gussie Boy may finish in a lonely 7th at the moment, unless Car Racer pits for another set of tyres, because he's still got a long way to go on that set of hards that have been on pretty much. That's been on since lap 3. So he's just trying to get those tyres to the end. Henchman in 5th. Will maybe try and go to the end, but there's very stretchy on mediums. Dash picks up a penalty. Geordie's still out there with that broken front wing. 10, 11 seconds behind Timor, who's 12 seconds behind Zach, who's only 6 seconds behind Rainer, so gap at the front effectively is decreased to 12 seconds, so Zach is closing that gap, but Rainer's not going to make it easy to pass, even if he does catch up to the back of him. As we currently watch the Ferrari driver, as he starts the gap starts to stay the same as Zach's tyres sort of start to die now at 8 laps old. I believe Timor may be trying to go to the end on that set of mediums, as it is raining. It's raining. I didn't even notice. It's actually raining at the end of this race. So this could throw up a whole bunch of fireworks. If Zach's quick in the wet and Rainer isn't. But this sort of throws strategy out the window. Because I believe Radayam goes to intermediates. He's done a very early switch there, trying to get an advantage. I mean, he was down right pretty much last, so he can try anything. His Dash will get past him. As he drops down to 11th place, but very big gamble by the Williams driver. As Supercar 85 now gets lapped by Zach JW22, so up to 9th position's been lapped. as the gap between Rainer and Zach's actually started to increase now. So Rainer's starting to pull away from Zach as Gussie Boy pulls ahead of Karis, who pulls into the pits actually. He's gone to the intermediates, so Karis decided to get off those hards, go to a set of intermediates, try the gamble on the wet compounds. Whether or not that'll actually work is another question or not. But the track is starting to get wet. Definitely starting to get wetter, as Timor's tyres would definitely be starting to hurt now if they weren't hurting already. They've done 19 laps and they've done more laps than Rainer's hards have, and Rainer's hards are a more durable compound, so I'm fairly sure Timor will be in pretty soon. If not this lap, no, he stays out, but I think if those lap times start to improve on the intermediates, the Supercar also pulls into the pit, so he's going to try it. Was 71 minutes down. I'm not sure if we'll get time for an interview tonight, as I don't want it to be too long of a stream, but Supercar still in the pits as Karis is now getting lapped by Zach JW22. He drives through him, the ghost car. Those intermediates not really working at the moment for him. I don't think the track's wet enough just yet, but some drivers thinking it is and pulling into the intermediates. As Zach finishes up 26, doesn't look like any of the leaders blinking for the inters at the moment. I believe we did see someone blink. I think it may be Geordie first. Trying to get off those mediums, trying to gate the front wing change. As there's a yellow flag in sector 3. As Timor's lost it, I believe. Timor may have had a problem as Karis picks up a penalty, and Timor has had a problem. He's lost his wing, he's boxing. What tyres will he go on to? Will the Red Bull... What will the Red Bull crew fit to Timor Thunder's car? As Tez Science lags out of the session there. Maybe that was deliberate or not, but he has left the session. So is Henchman, as Timor goes on to the intermediates. So Henchman leaves as well as Tez Science. Them two leaving at pretty much the same time as Timor's on the intermediates. Whether or not that'll yield an advantage for the Red Bull driver or not is another matter. As there's another yellow flag somewhere. This all starts to happen towards the end of this race. Timor on the intermediates, down into 4th position. He's had to pit, otherwise he would have pretty much punctured his tyre there due to overstress. But will he be able to do anything with those intermediates with just 4 laps remaining? Rainer, as I said earlier, looks to be in the box seat here on those 16-lap-old hards, as he comes to lap the lagged out Tez Science. He's got Zach at bay, only 6.5 seconds behind. I believe Zach will comfortably come home in 2nd. And any Geordie fans still out there, he is still running in 3rd with that broken wing, but Timor looks to be catching him on those intermediates, maybe. Gussie Boy's in 5th, great result at the moment, haven't really seen much of him. Gussie Boy's doing his standard drive, just sort of staying under everyone's way and getting a good result as he goes deep there trying to get past Matley. Henchman in 6th, currently lagged out. Great result at the moment for him if he can stay there. Karis is in 8th on those intermediates, currently not really working for him. Dash is down in 9th. Just been lapped by Geordie. But he's still got a good result for the Alpha Romeo team as he actually repasses Geordie, as Geordie's still got that damage, so this could plague Geordie a little bit due to the dirty air effect of the ghost car. Supercar's down in 10th, taking the last points paying position. Matley's in 11th and Rad AM's down in 12th, so Rad's intermediate's not really working for him at the moment. So maybe they can sort of come back, but rain isn't really heavy enough, I would say, for the intermediate tyres to really gain an advantage at the moment compared to the compared to the dry tyres. As Rayner comes across the line out of start lap 29, only 3 laps remaining. He still looks to be in the box seat, but as there was a message from race control, I didn't quite see what that was for. As we are actually watching Team Thunder's warnings there, I was trying to see Rayner's. I'll try to go into Rayner's, see if that was him picking up a penalty. It wasn't. I believe it may have been one of the other drivers. As Rayner slides the car on the curb there. This curb's slippery as ice during wet weather conditions. As Radayam's coming up to be lapped for the second time. He's now officially two laps down. This is a yellow flag, sector 2. As Supercars spun it at one of the corners there, he's going to get passed by Tess Science. Oh no, Timor will lap him. Supercar not having the best of races. And Intense scoring a single point for the Haas team. His teammate up in 6th, lagged out of the session. So the car's still thinking the dry tyres are the way to go compared to the intermediates. Personally, that's what I would choose, considering DRS still hasn't been disabled. I don't think the intermediates will be the fastest tyre, as you can only see 4 cars on them, and all 4 starting to struggle a little bit. It's one of those, is Team Thunder. He looks to sort of be gobbling. He looks to maybe try and be passed by Gossy Boy. Which is what Zach will want, because Zach will be scoring, I think, 19 points with fastest lap possibly. I'm not sure who has it. And Tim will only be scoring 10. Means there'll be about 8 or 9 point swing in the championship if Gossy can pass Team Thunder, which would be good for Zach, because it'd also be good for us, because that'll mean it won't be decided a race early with the championship. So, speaking of the championship, it looks like Dash might try and get past Kart Racer now. He goes down the inside. Kart Racer leaving no space. There's contact. Bit of a risky move there from Dash, but hasn't paid off at the moment, as actually there is only, we've got 1, 2, 3, we've only got 6 races after this one, so time is running out for Zach JW22 if he wants to try and take the championship from Timor Thunder. But Gussie and Timor currently the closest cars on the track. Actually no, scratch that, Supercar and Radayam are. I believe Supercar maybe getting past Radayam in a second as they come down to the Singapore Sling. Supercar passes the Williams easy as you like. Radayam back down to 12th. And as Gossy Boy's not really catching Timor anymore though, so Timor's sort of holding his position on those intermediates, but I believe Rayner is starting to catch. Is he catching the lap fast? No, he isn't. He's sort of in a world of his own at the moment, so he's coming on to the final lap now, so race is almost over. It's been a good race, been a little bit of incidents as Dash pits again. I think he may have a little bit of damage possibly, or is that maybe just a glitch? No, he did pit onto another set of softs. Had the gap to do it as Rayner starts the final lap. No, Rayner's spun! Rayner's lost it on the final lap. He resets to track. Could that cause a penalty? Could that be a post-race penalty for the McLaren driver? He's reset to track. That isn't allowed. Zach would have gone by if he didn't do that. A little bit of controversy going on here, but Zach is right there with Rayner now. Could he try and pass the McLaren driver on the last lap? Rayner's losing it on the curb on the final lap. Will there be a price to pay for that one after the race? There could be a post-race penalty if someone does report it. But it looks like Rayner may hold on to it just as the gap's less than half a second now, but those tyres starting to die for Zach. Yellow flag in sector 2 as Dash gets lapped by Timor Thunder. The battle's on up the front here though. Less than a second here on the last lap. Rayner currently effectively leads by 6 seconds over Zach though. So it looks like Rayner will get the win. But will there be a post-race penalty applied by race spec stewards for breaking one of the rules of not resetting to track? I know that is a definite rule. I believe one of the drivers did get a penalty point applied for that, a post-race penalty. So that's when the Haas has gone. Supercar's gone over the Anderson Bridge. He's lost his wing. He gets passed by Brad Iamos. He'll be finishing this lap as they are a lap down. But Rayner could have gotten away with one of the mistakes if the stewards are lenient. This will definitely be investigated post-race if someone reports it. But at the moment, Rayner is your race winner. As one of the Haas's has crashed down here. I believe he's gone off his wing. He's outbroken himself. As they come through the final complex of corners, Matley picks up a penalty. And your win for the Singapore Grand Prix here at round 15 Pacific Series Singapore goes to RJC Rayner 44 across the line. He wins by 6.8 seconds over Zach due to penalties, and we'll get him in for a quick interview because you're 55 seconds behind. 55 seconds behind Zach as he's still coming through here as RJC Rayner 44 is in the commentary box. He's won his race. How do you feel, Rayner?
Yes.
Before we do anything, I will just say, final corner, penultimate lap. What happened?
Oh, I was just looking at the lap times and I was going, oh, don't bottle, and then I just lost it, and then I just quickly got going, and then I knew I had Zach had 9 seconds of penalties and I only had 3 seconds, so I was wary of that as well. So I just hung on for the last lap, and I was so scared about spinning it again.
Yeah. Did you reset to track? May I ask?
Yeah, I reset to track. Give me a 5-second penalty. I don't care. I still finished 7 seconds ahead, so that's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. There may be a penalty applied by the stewards after the race. Just want to say though. But how was the race? Oh no, you were qualified down in 14th, 15th, was it?
15th because I just didn't get the right quali run, but obviously because of the rain. So yeah, 15th.
Yeah. Geordie said you were playing music and then just realised it was raining.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So how did you feel when the rain started coming down in the race? Did you ever think about intermediates?
No, I just judged it lap by lap, and I wasn't gonna pit. Me and Geordie were just talking, and Geordie was gonna pit, but we ended up both making the decision to just stay out because it just wasn't time for the inters. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the race strategy for me just put me in contention. Those first 2 laps, I went from 15th to 4th, I think, and then.
Yeah, there was a lot of incidents going on in the first couple of corners. But yeah, the one stop was very effective. Zach was catching you towards the end of the race though, but I feel like the rain may have been your saviour there because that kind of neutralised the fresh tyre effect that he had. But yeah, congratulations on the win. Is it your second win in Pacific Series?
Second win in a row.
2 in a row, 2 on the trot for you. Congratulations to all the McLaren team. First and third on the podium, so hope you enjoyed the race, and we'll see you on Friday night for F2, I guess.
Thank you. I'll see you then.
See you guys. See you around. Even with Rayner winning the race, I want to say huge congratulations to Zach and Geordie for finishing on the podium. Well done to Timor as well for finishing 4th. He had a pretty tough race. I believe Gussie got 5th in the end. I believe Henchman May got 6th, Test Science got 7th, Kart Racer finishes in 8th position, Dash will come home in 9th, and Lee home in 10th, rounding out the top 10. 11th is Red I Am, 12th is Supercar, 13th is Orphan Drop, 14th is Jay Lowry, 16th is Hayden, as it did not get classified, or Oz Formula did not get classified. But that is it. A quick snapshot of the penalties. You can see a lot of warnings going on. We've been streaming for just over 85 minutes now, so I believe it is time for me to say a warm-hearted goodbye to all of you. If you do want to catch more Spec racing, I believe the European series might be on fairly soon. See Dash, they're making a whopping 5 pit stops. Softs to mediums to hards to softs to intermediates. 6 sets of tyres in a race is a lot, but I'd like to thank you all for watching again. And we'll see you on Friday night for F2 if you want to catch more Pacific action. If you want to catch European action, I'm fairly sure it's on sometime soon. I'm not too sure about that. And then we'll see you for Global on Sunday night. Goodbye, everyone.